the $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast. All right, welcome to the podcast. We're here with the Loan Goat, Milad. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, so he's the Loan Goat, is a branch manager and does a ton of volume at FundLoans, and just wanted to have you here so we can chat with you about the market, the business, kind of what you're doing. And so before I go on too far, please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit that subscribe button. So I appreciate you guys watching. All right, so tell us, what is the Loan Goat? What is this?
Sure. So Loan Goat is a mortgage broker. We are based out of La Jolla, California. Okay. We're very purchase focused. We're focused on purchases. I mean, we do refinances as well, but that doesn't mean that we focus on refinances. Mm-hmm. We've built a very good purchase business. We're referral based, so we don't do any cold calling or anything like that. I've done a very good job at building a good referral source, such as from realtors and past clients. Yep. And do a lot of non-QM business. Mm-hmm. So we do hard money, conventional, all the normal stuff like conventional, FHA, VA, yep, jumbo. Then we've got non-QM and hard money as well. So we're like a one-stop shop, if you will.
Nice. Yep. That's great. And so you can really take care of your customers, your realtors, all your customers, your borrowers. So that's a great
Absolutely
way to be able to be a one-stop shop. So what got you into the mortgage business?
Sure. So I got out of the Marine Corps actually in late 2018. Got licensed as a realtor in early 2019, and I did that for about a year. Mm-hmm. And I did really well as a realtor. I was on the Jim Buttrell team. They're a top performing team in North San Diego. Okay. They close about 500 homes a year, and I'm only 26 years old. So at the time, back in 2020, I was 23 years old. Mm-hmm. I thought to myself, let me try financing, the other side of the business that a lot of people don't think about. Everyone grows up here and they want to be a realtor. Yeah. They think, hey, I'm going to be a realtor and make big money. I see it all on Instagram. But no one thinks, let me be a loan officer.
Right. They have TV shows about realtors, right? And list that house and all this selling Sunset and all this. But they don't have shows about loan brokers.
Right.
So there's something a little more sexy about being a realtor and showing that big luxury house and stuff. At the financing side, we don't get as much love, right?
Exactly.
The media.
So I thought to myself, I like standing out. I like being different. Mm-hmm. So I thought to myself, let me build, if I like financing, I'm going to build a team around me. Yep. Because I grew up in real estate around a team.
The team, yeah.
I had a sales manager, inside sales agents, cold calling, ops, marketing.
Right. So it's your little business within a business.
Exactly. So yeah. I got licensed in 2020, early 2020 during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Worked under Scott Evans at Cross Country Mortgage. Okay. He's a top producer, so I learned a lot there. And in January of this year, 2022, we started Loan Goat, nice, which is we're a licensed branch under Time Lending. Okay. And our office is located in La Jolla. Year to date, we've done 55 loans. We funded 55 loans. In a downturning market, 73% of those loans are purchases. Nice. And more than 50% is non-QM. Wow. And this is all just the first year, right?
That's great, yeah.
While figuring it out. So we're doing a good job, and it's exciting.
So all those loan brokers out there that are crying about not having business, you're like, look, I'm doing it. You're doing it, and you haven't been in the business that long, right? So
I think if you focus on losing, you're a loser. Right. Winners win. Right. Losers lose.
So how do you get business? Do you have just tons of realtor relationships? Do you market online? What's your...
Honestly, I want to say it comes naturally, but there's a reason to it, right?
Right.
I care about what I do. Mm-hmm. So every referral that I get, I service to the best of my ability. Okay. I make sure I'm the best at what I do. What does that mean? Maybe that's closing quickly. I promise 14-day or less closes if it's full doc. Mm-hmm. That when you compare that to a bank that's 30 to 45 days, we're winning. Yep. So I'm different there.
Absolutely.
I offer non-QM. Mm-hmm. Banks can't do non-QM. What's non-QM? That means if you can't qualify based on tax returns, then I can qualify you based off of your bank statements. Mm-hmm. If your bank statements are a little wishy-washy, then maybe we can get a profit and loss statement from your CPA and we can go that route.
Right. Yeah. So that's good. You have all the whole menu of all the products. You've got some realtor relationships. You've got do you market online or do you
I don't spend $1 in marketing.
Really? So just mostly referral relationships.
It's all referral based. So
getting the word out,
it's sure. So basically, like realtors refer us a lot of business because I was a realtor. I know.
So you know realtors.
So I know realtors.
So do you get from your past team? Do you get stuff?
Starting out, I did.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
You got a shot at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's try him out.
Yeah, let's try him out. So then from there, I was like, all right, I got a couple offers accepted. Let me prospect the listing agents.
Okay.
And then it just became like the domino effect.
Right.
I did a really good job. I closed a loan in 14 days, using a broker such as yourself, FundLoans or United Wholesale Mortgage or what have you. They're really impressed with the service. They're really impressed with the processors reaching out to them, hand holding them throughout the entire transaction, communicating with them on weekends. You got to be different, right?
Yeah, and it sounds like to me you're not a kind of like middle average type of person. Like you're a like all or nothing. Like I bet you probably think about mortgages all the time, 24/7, right?
At 2 a.m.
So you're like, you're checking your emails. You're not letting, like, all right, I'm going to go watch my, series 4 episodes of Game of Thrones or something. You're like, I'm going to just focus on my business and hustle. And you're, that's probably what makes you stand out and makes you win because you put in that extra effort, right?
I grew up playing sports. So to me, what's fun about this business is it's competitive.
Yeah.
Everyone knows each other's numbers.
Yeah.
You get to brag if you're doing good.
Right.
And if you suck, then everyone knows you suck.
Yeah. And you can kind of control it a little bit, right? Obviously, they can't control the interest rates and some of the market stuff, the ups and downs of the values. But you can control how hard you work, how much effort you put into it, and then what kind of results out of that is definitely more than if you didn't, right?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
How'd you come up with GOAT? What's I know it's greatest of all time, right? Yeah. But is it kind of like I'm going to be the best of the best, or?
It's funny. I technically Loan Goat started in October of last year, but it was different branding. I called it Modern Mortgage. I went in with a partner, won't say his name. We had our differences. What I found was I just worked my ass off.
Yep.
And not everyone.
He didn't, or she didn't?
But he didn't.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just not human. I don't know. I like going 7 days a week. I don't have a personal life.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy doing this like 24/7. It's fun for me. I like helping people. He wasn't like that, so we split up in January, and I was like, all right, I need to rebrand. You can have this Modern Mortgage thing that we had started, and I had a guy that was working with me at the time under me. I was like, what do we call this thing? Like, I was in La Jolla. I'm in La Jolla because I'm a big believer in like where you are. People judge, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, Lux.
And there's just bigger loans in La Jolla, right?
Sure.
If you rub elbows, bump into people in La Jolla, you're having coffee, getting your lunch, whatever, you're going to meet someone who may live in La Jolla that might have a $5 million, $10 million house.
Which has happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So we chose, so I was like, all right, what the heck should we call this thing? And we were playing around luxury lending. I was like, oh, that's too basic. And then we came up with Loan Goat, and I was like, it stuck with me. And I brought it to Alex, who's one of your account executives here. And I brought it to a couple of my friends. They're like, well, no one has this. Yeah. So we got it. Now we got it branded, got the logo made. It's with the USPTO office, doing the whole trademark thing. Got the corporations all set up, and
that's cool. So what is your main strategy for getting new loans?
Main strategy for getting new loans. Servicing our current ones to the best of our ability.
Okay.
Leveraging who we're talking to. Yeah. I get a text message from a realtor and a client. We're on it, right?
Right.
Staying top of mind.
Yep.
For example, I tell realtors, introduce me via group chat with your client.
Yep.
There's a couple of reasons why I do that. If they give me the client's number and I call them, they're going to be like, who's this Milad? Who?
Right. Yeah, they won't associate
exactly
with it. Yeah.
If I'm being put in a group chat, now they know
interesting
who I am.
Yep.
That's one. Number two, then they feel kind of stuck. Like, okay, now I got to talk to this guy because I don't want to let down my realtor.
Right.
Number three, any updates that we have throughout this entire process of taking the app of the consultation, sending a loan application via group chat and via email. If they go under contract, when we close, all updates are now in that group chat.
Yep.
Guess what? Now you're updating the realtor without having to reach out to the realtor.
Killing two birds with one stone. Yeah.
Exactly. And now you're staying top of mind for that realtor.
Oh,
and
they're seeing all your efforts too.
Any new business, anything that comes up, like Milad and his team have been crushing it because realtors just want to know their clients are being taken care of. That's all.
If they don't hear from you for a week or so, they're just like, what is going on with my deal? Am I going to get a commission? I don't know.
Exactly. You could be talking to that client every single day.
Right.
But if you're not updating the realtor,
they think you're doing nothing. Yeah,
exactly.
He's off hanging out at the bar with on the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen his Instagram. He's not in the office. But you're like, no, I'm on top of it because they see it every text.
Exactly. So that's one thing, and then just crushing every single transaction that we get, and it just comes naturally.
Yeah.
After a while, deals just start coming to you.
Yeah, because people refer to other people that, or they'll continue to refer to you if they know that you're on top of it. Like, they want to give people who are successful more, right? It's like you don't want to give someone who's like not doing much. You don't want to give them anything, right? So it's like success begets success, basically.
Perception is reality.
Yeah, perception for sure. So you obviously we're in the end here of September, and it's the market's crazy, volatile. Recessions being spoken, the word. There's talk of housing prices dipping and dropping, and we've seen 1 to 3, 4% house declines, in the California areas and some in Utah and around, and people are, the rates are high, crazy high, and compared to what it was, what are your thoughts on right now? Is it you nervous?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
So you got in the business, and you said 2020, like in the mortgage business?
2020, I was working for.
So it's the worst year to get in the mortgage business. I mean, at least in the beginning of when the pandemic hit, and people couldn't even show houses, right? And they couldn't. So you had probably a few months of just what the heck am I doing?
I couldn't even take my test. I remember I couldn't go take my licensing test.
Yeah. You couldn't even go to
safe exam.
Couldn't get your exam done. And then just things started kind of shifting. And in 21 was a phenomenal year for mortgages, as we all know. But so you kind of got into it knowing there's some potential volatility and some craziness, right? So you didn't just get in the good times and then you had this one terrible time, which is what a lot of people kind of are stuck in this, oh man, it was so easy, and then now it's like you gotta, the low hanging fruit's all gone. Now you gotta climb the tree to get the coconut on top.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I didn't start putting my foot on the gas until January of this year when I split with my partner. I knew this, it's all or nothing now.
Yeah.
I'm the only one bringing in business because when you got a partner, you can kind of rely on them. Okay, I'm going to have a bad month and they'll
kind of supplement or whatever. Yeah.
But when I kicked them out, I was like, all right, overhead's on me. Employees are on me.
Yep.
I still got payroll to make.
Yep.
I still got rent. I still got a mortgage in Nashville. I still got my car. And then it was like, all right, do or die. And then when that hits, that's when I started putting my foot on the gas. I didn't realize how good I was until this year, to be honest with you. I was like, wow, I'm cranking this many referrals in, and we're averaging 5 referrals a day.
Wow.
2 to 3 applications a day.
So on your team is just you're the LO, and then everyone else
only
is
originator.
supporting. Okay, so you've done that many units just on your own, but with a team. So not saying you have other LOs on your team. So you're the only originator.
I'm the only originator.
See, that's a cool model. When you can figure out, and it's more of an entrepreneur mindset where you're able to figure out how the business works and how you can scale and maximize it for yourself. Where some people just aren't built that way, and they just they feel like I just got to do my own loans, and I don't want to share it with it. I don't want to give any splits to anyone. I don't want to give any. I don't want to give anything up, but it's kind of like the pie thing where it's like, do you want 100% of a small pie, or do you want 80% of a much bigger pie?
It's exactly what I tell realtors when they come to me.
Yeah.
New realtors, they need help being placed on a team, or what broker should I hang my license under?
Right.
I tell them, okay, let me put you on a team that does 1,000 homes a year, for example, like Porch Light Realty. Or Palisade Realty that does 400 to 500 homes a year. These teams where you get leads.
Yeah.
Now your commission split is lower.
Right.
But
you're doing transactions.
You're doing transactions and you're learning a lot along the way.
Right.
And they'll tell me, well, why don't I go to so-and-so get 80-20? I'm like, you're a new realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best way to start.
And then you're going to meet a bunch of people. You're going to have people that like you, that you're going to end up doing deals for 5 years, 10 years from now.
Exactly.
That you'll get 100% or you get the lion's share of that fee.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think the model we've built is honestly, it's best. It's not just best for us, but it's also best for the consumer. Because what the consumer doesn't understand is there are so many things that you do as a loan originator.
Oh, this
It's the prospecting, it's the cold calling, it's the meeting the realtors, it's the marketing events, it's
the
the
weekend
marketing,
calls,
the Instagram,
talking about the kids' birthdays, and
it's the current clients, the past clients calling you, the future deals being put into group chats by new realtors, it's the fires,
being a market analyst of what the rates are going to do tomorrow. I don't have a crystal ball, but you should lock because we don't know.
Dealing with escrows, dealing with the title reps, your processor, someone's complaining, someone doesn't like their rate. So I've come to find out that if I'm focused on bringing business in, originating, and what I've built is what I'm building is a pre-underwriting staff.
Okay.
So
that's smart.
I have our VP and senior pre-underwriter, Yusuf, is he's going to head that staff. So what my goal is to build a pre-underwriting staff that knows the ins and outs of full doc, non-QM, hard money, and commercial loans.
Yep.
Once I have that beautifully done, then I'm going to go market to LOs. You come here, you bring business in.
Grow your team that way. Grow your origination team.
You're going to originate.
Yeah. You get to use all these.
You get to use all these people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. And it hasn't been, that model has not been done here. I don't know anyone that has a pre-underwriting staff.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that before, so it's not a totally new concept, but I think that a lot of people don't do it. You're looking at probably 98% of people don't, 95% of people don't do that.
You got to be bringing in enough business.
Yeah, just people don't think that way necessarily either. They're lone rangers and they're just by themselves and they're not gonna share, or they don't get along as much with tons of other people that don't want to share it. A ton of reasons, but if you can build it and see it and figure it out and then execute it, then that's pretty special. That's awesome.
I think you got to have a winner's mentality, right? You can't, if you're doing it by yourself and you're comfortable doing, there are people out there that are comfortable doing 12 loans a year, and that's perfectly fine if you're happy with that.
Sure.
But I want to do 200 loans a year, and to do that, I can't do that by myself. It's just not humanly possible.
It's tough, yeah.
You got to have a staff.
I know someone that probably did 200 loans last year all by himself with no processor, nothing. No marketing arm, just all by himself in his house.
What?
I call him the loan ninja. He's one of our top producers at FundLoans, but he doesn't work here, but he sends us a lot of business. But he's been in the business like 25 years or 20 something years, and he's like, I could have sent this loan, I could have talked about this with a processor, but instead I just did it myself because it would have taken me the same amount of time to talk to the processor.
Talk to the processor, yeah.
But I'm more of a believer in like a team where like I'm doing what I do best.
Sure.
Where I know I'm not a good processor, I'm not a detail person, I'm a more big picture, kind of leader. And and I can make good relationships and things like that, but like I cannot process the same life. I mean, I could do it, but I would hate doing it. That's what I mean. So like, why do stuff that you would hate? But I think he kind of likes doing both. I think he likes doing the processing and the originating. And anyway, but yeah, so I that just takes a rare person to do that. So the word recession doesn't scare you at all. The word, the high rates, they're not like, you're not keeping you up at night thinking like, how am I going to sell this high rate loan? Like what comes across your mind when when you talk to a borrower and they're like, I'm not going to buy a house because I don't want a 7 or 8, 9% loan.
Sure. So here's what I've been telling borrowers, and I'm a firm believer in this because I'm actually under contract for myself right now in North Park and a triplex. But I've been telling borrowers that property that you get your offer accepted on for example, $1.3 million today would have sold for 1.5 6 to 8 months ago. Why? Because the interest rates were in the 3s and now they're in the 6 to 7s.
Right.
Would you much rather have a lower purchase price or a lower interest rate? I would rather have a lower purchase price because you can always refinance your rate down the road.
Absolutely.
And rates are eventually going to drop.
Yep.
Eventually they will.
Yep.
But you can't renegotiate what you paid for the home.
That's very true.
And I also tell them that, hey, right now demand is low, so you can get a good deal, right?
Yep.
And if what I've been seeing a lot is a lot of seller credit, for example. You can either wait to refinance your rate and get a good deal, or I've been seeing a lot of seller credits and being able to buy down rates. So I think now is an amazing time, John. I really do. I'm a big believer in that. And if you're smart, you buy now.
Yep.
I mean, if I had $20 million right now, I'd buy a bunch of properties.
Bunch of property. You wouldn't wait a little bit? You think it's going to go down more? Or?
You're never going to time it perfectly.
Yeah, no one knows. No one has a crystal ball.
The greatest economist can't time
But
it.
what we do know is we know history. We know that over the last 70 years, house prices, a $400,000 house in San Diego by the ocean 70 years ago, is now over $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that it's not going to go backwards, and it never does. It kind of does the up and down, but it always is trending up, and that is due to what we all call inflation.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar weakening, right? It's like you just can't buy the same thing you could buy 70 years ago for the same price. So, to your point, having a cheaper price is better than interest rate, because you can
100%.
always get a lower rate at some
Always
point.
lower your rate. You can always refinance it.
Yeah, so the people that buy now, I think, will win. I think that just like it did in 08, 9, 10, it went down and then crashed. And then, you bought then. Today, you crushed it, right? If you bought in 2012 and then 2022 sold, it was like the biggest run we've ever seen. It was great.
Yep.
But I don't think it's going to crash. I think it'll soften. It'll drop probably up to 10%. Maybe a little more. Who knows? In different areas, it'll drop more. But we're looking at real estate is an asset, right? It's an income producing asset.
And we live in San Diego,
and it's harder and harder to buy. So people that get in are going to make more money. They're going to create wealth, and that's what's awesome about real estate, is that you can create wealth, and you can create great income streams with tax deductions and all kinds of stuff. It's great.
100%.
So you have some property in Nashville too?
I do.
Awesome.
Yeah, my parents live in my property in Nashville. I actually bought that house.
Are you licensed there too?
I am licensed in Tennessee. Licensed in Tennessee, yeah.
So yeah, back to what we were saying about real estate crashing. People, I think I've seen like on blogs and like on little videos that people talking about like there's going to be this massive crash, and a lot of people who've been kind of sitting on the sidelines are like, we're waiting until we're going to get the lowest price ever, and and they think it's going to go down 50% or 60% and all these things, and I'm just like, it's so different from 08. I know you weren't in the business in 08.
No.
But you're what,
26 years old, yeah.
So you were what, 12 in 08?
That was what,
13?
12, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
I was
You were
12.
Yeah. So
wow.
Did your parents own back then?
No, they didn't. But my dad had a business.
So you kind of remember maybe a little of the...
I remember it was very stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a lot different with the loan. So people had to sell because they were stuck in these loans that were adjusting. And they couldn't afford them, and they couldn't afford them in the first place mostly, and they had zero equity. And
right.
Now we've got.
But I believe it's different now. No, John.
Yeah, it is.
Back then I heard you were making $7 an hour, you can get approved for a $600,000 loan.
Yeah. You had to prove ability to repay on this last round. Yeah.
So now you got to prove income, and even with non-QM wholesale lenders such as yourself, you got to have money. Yeah. You want a bank statement loan? You need 20% down. There's LTV requirements, right? There's credit score requirements. There's reserve requirements. You can't be working a $20 an hour job and get $1 million loan.
No, you can't. Have you heard of any loan fraud? Have you heard of like people talking about loan fraud or like any, because when it gets tighter, when it gets harder, people are desperate. Like loan officers out there, they might be desperate. They might be a little more tempted to do some loan fraud. I'm just curious if you've heard of that. I haven't seen it. We have seen a little of loan fraud at FundLoans. We've caught a couple people, and had to turn the loan down. And we're not out to like completely ruin someone, but we blacklist them and stuff like that. So have you heard of anything like realtors you've talked to? Anyone like just kind of any kind of like talk about that? Because it just always piques my interest when someone can't get a loan. And the rates are up, and then they can't qualify, and they just have all this money like on the line, Sure. It's just. Would you agree that it's probably?
I heard a loan officer went out of business. I won't say any names, but I did hear a loan officer in East County went out of. Well, she got her license taken from her. She was making fake pay stubs and fake W-2s back in 2020, and then when she refinanced them with the same lender. A different employer.
Oh wow!
She got caught.
She got caught. Wow. Yeah, it's I think it's a lot less now, the fraud is, than it used to be back in like '05, '06 and stuff like that. But it just, it just kind of happens. And I think you can always kind of wonder, and especially as a CEO of a mortgage company, I'm like, I wonder if people are thinking this way because you got to watch out for it more as a lender. We got to watch out for it more. And anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because it just popped in my head. Let's see. Even though, a lot of people are like laying people off, to me, that means there's just a lot of talent out there. Do you think it's a good time to kind of get into the mortgage business? What do you think? Rates are high, people are getting laid off, and there's a lot of mortgage professionals out there without jobs. Do you think it's a good time to hire and kind of grow your team?
If you're a processor watching this, 619-617-2797. Give me a call.
Call now.
Call now. I need processors.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm looking for people. I think it's a great time to hire right now.
That's great.
And I think if you are successful in a downturning market, you're going to freaking blow up when rates drop.
You're going to crush because you'll have this list of all these people you put in at 7, 8, and then when it's 6, you're going to do a loan for them. When it's 5, you're going to do a loan for them. 4.
All right. And if you can thrive in this market, you're going to crush it when rates drop.
Yeah,
because absolutely. For obvious reasons. But I think right now would be a great time to get into the mortgage industry. But you have to work. You have to work for a mentor that is purchase focused. You have to work for someone that's purchase focused. Right. They got to teach you purchase business. It was really easy to get into the mortgage industry in 2020 or 2021 because it's not hard to sell a 3% when someone's at a 5%.
You can send out an email to all your clients and say, the rate today is 3%. Do you want to refi? Me, pick me.
Right.
And then you get emails, and so you didn't have to do any work. You just emailed. So yeah, you're right. You got to hustle. You got to work hard now. So if you're going to get into this business today, don't expect it to be easy.
Absolutely.
Can you make a lot of money? Hell yeah. But you got to work.
Yep. Most money I've ever made was this year.
Wow.
So I'm excited when rates drop. Alex keeps telling me, he's like, you guys are cranking 55 loans, 73% purchases. Yeah. Rates are in the 8s and 9s. Like, I can imagine when they're in the 4s. I'm excited for that.
That's going to be good.
But, I knew this was coming. Yeah. And you could go.
How did you know?
Interest rates were eventually going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't stay. I mean, there were VA IRRRLs we were doing last year at 2.25.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Well, did you, maybe the inflation thing tipped you off, like all the money printing? Is that kind of what tips you off, or did you think it was just what goes down must go back up kind of thing?
I stay in my lane, and I don't watch a lot of news, John. I just knew they'd come up. Yeah. I just knew they'd come up eventually.
Yeah.
And I had to prep myself for that time. So if you go on my Instagram, back last year, last year, I would always come on and I'd say, listen, if you're getting into this business, you need to focus on purchases. Right. You can't be focused on refinances. That's what we did before I started Loan Goat. Yeah. When I was always focused on meeting with realtors. I'd meet with one realtor a day, provide value to them, right? That's cool. Help them get their offer accepted, call the listing agent and tell them why they should pick our client because it's we can close quickly, pre-underwritten approval. I leverage the reviews that I have to help them get their offer accepted.
Nice.
Because the listing agent, I mean, the highest offer doesn't always get the job done, right? The listing agent wants to work with a lender. When you get your offer accepted, the buyer's agent, the listing agent, and the lender work as a team collaboratively to get the loan to the finish line, to get the deal to the finish line, right?
Right.
And no one wants to work with a lender that can't perform. No one wants to work with a lender that doesn't pick up the phone. No one wants to work with a lender that can't text back. So if I'm aggressive, as soon as that offer is out via email and I'm CC'd, they want to work with us.
That's cool. What do you like about non-QM?
Others don't know how to do it. Others aren't good at it. Yeah. You can really, if you get good at non-QM, you're gonna stand out.
That's cool. Yeah.
They don't teach non-QM and when you're getting your MLS.
It's a lot of in the dark feeling, kind of stumbling around, hitting your toe, stepping on Legos.
Yep. No, non-QM's awesome, and for example, as a realtor or as a business owner, maybe you want to write a lot of income off, and maybe you made $1 million last year, but on paper you only made $150,000 after expenses, right?
Right.
Well, you can't get a $2 million loan.
Right.
A bank statement loan will allow you to get that loan.
Yeah, and I would even say now, maybe self-employed people who could get a full doc loan back when rates were 2.5
can't get it. Right
can't now. They might need to use their bank statements, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good. Actually, I haven't even thought of that. Like, talk to realtors about, hey, like if your borrower, if they're self-employed and they were qualifying no problem at that low rate because their tax returns were decent.
That's exactly what I'm using to prospect realtors right now.
That's cool.
I am good at non-QM. I tell realtors, if you go into your CRM, I promise you will have at least one client that was told no by a bank that I can approve.
Right. Yeah.
And if you can't, then I'll never contact you again. I literally tell them that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, and they'll literally go in there and they'll introduce me to someone the very next day. Hey, this guy has a lot of money or doesn't have income.
Yeah.
Or this guy has a business but didn't, wrote a bunch off last year.
Yeah.
Does he have money? If he has money, he can probably go non-QM.
Right.
And what's unique about non-QM, John, is every lender has different guidelines. Like you got your FundLoans, your Change Wholesale, you got Sprout, RIP, and the other ones. But we've done so much non-QM this year that we've learned all the ins and outs and which lender, like turn times, which lender give exceptions, concessions. If I need something closed quicker, I go here. If I need a $7 million, you guys do up to $10 million, right? If I need a $9 million loan, the largest loan we funded was with you guys actually for $2.76 million.
Nice.
A couple months ago.
We did it right.
You did great.
That's probably why you're like, I'll come on the podcast.
Yeah.
If we totally shit the bed on it, you'd be like, I don't want to go.
No, you guys,
John.
You guys are awesome, and there's so much that goes into which mortgage broker you should choose, right? Because any broker could have access to this fund loans.
Yeah, and a lot of brokers just have one non-QM person. That's all they go to. And then if that doesn't work out well, they're like, it didn't work out. Sorry, buddy.
Right.
But if you have, like you said, multiple in your tool belt.
Right. It's having multiple options.
And knowing which one does what best, right?
And what the team behind. Like the AE. If your AE isn't good, your account executive, then they're not going to vouch for you. They're not going to pick up your calls. So there's just so much that goes behind it.
The relationship thing.
The relationship thing and just forward thinking what problems are going to come up. Right. And using critical thinking to solve for that before they come up.
True.
And that's what we do best.
Yeah.
Like I know what condition. I know what we're going to get conditioned for. Yeah. Let's knock this out before we even give you your pre-underwritten approval.
Nice.
And that way we can close this thing in 19 days and not 45.
Yeah, I think so many people just sit around and they just wait for someone to tell them what to do, or they wait for, the best kind of the results is like more reactionary, where it sounds like you're more proactive about your strategy. Yep. Which to me sounds like a way better strategy to be. We like your loans too because they close. It's like you have a high closing ratio because you've done the homework. You know what to expect. You've done. You've talked to underwriters. You've talked to the AE. You've looked at guidelines. You know what to do. Everyone that likes non-QM also has some things they don't like about non-QM. What don't you like about non-QM?
It's a good one. I've never been asked that, so you're going to have to give me a second.
We're always trying to improve, so yeah. Have a sip of the tequila and let me know. Just be honest. Like what? I mean, it doesn't have to be us, but just non-QM in general, right? Like obviously the rates are high, so that's something I don't like about non-QM right now. Nothing comes to mind?
Nothing comes to mind. I haven't had a bad non-QM experience, to be honest with you. I mean, this year I haven't. I mean, we only started cranking this year,
Have borrowers ever gotten mad at you for, like, something? Like
turn times.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn time. I mean, you guys aren't as fast.
Or, like, more conditions because,
You get over it.
You open up a can of worms, you're like, oh, God, I didn't know. You didn't tell me you bought 3 cars and, or whatever. Like, you get these conditions because they open up a can.
Sure.
And there's worms.
I wouldn't say it's a conditions. I'd say maybe the turn time sometimes.
Yeah.
Turn times would be like maybe my only complaint. But, I mean, you guys have been the fastest out of – I only use 3 non-QM lenders. We have access to 50. What's the point of using 50
if you like 3 and you have good relationships?
Right. It's all about relationships, right? Like if I'm spreading my loans across 40 lenders and I have built no relationship with any of them and they don't want to vouch for me if, something comes up like, hey, we need to get this guy's loan through. That could be the difference between a homeowner getting their keys or not. Right.
So what do you think about our second product, the cash out second product?
I've never heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have a bank statement second cash out to $1 million.
Wow.
And I think we even do P&L on it too as well.
What?
And we'll even do a second mortgage cash out. So if someone had a 3% first, a non-QM 3% first, you can do a bank statement loan, give them a cash out second to buy another property.
I didn't know
Just
that.
think of what you can do with your realtors with that.
Wow. Wow.
Like you could go to your realtors. Which deals did you close back in 18? To where now they have a ton of equity. They could probably buy a rental property, or they could.
I could probably send you 30 loans next week with this.
So I'm gonna have to talk to Alex because
I didn't know.
Alex, I'm calling Alex right now. Let's do this, dude. I'm gonna call him
I didn't know about this.
because
So everyone
he's
that
your AE, and I don't know why he didn't tell you about this.
Everyone that contacts
in
me
there.
usually about like that has a non-QM loan, I usually say, hey, you got to go full doc for a HELOC.
Yeah, no, this is full non-QM, second closed end. You get paid on. Hey, you're on the podcast right now. So our buddy here did not know that there's a second non-QM product. Did you tell him?
You know, I can't remember if I did or not. I thought we talked about the closed-end second non-QM only.
Okay.
12 months.
Maybe he didn't hear you. Maybe you talked about it quietly because, well, he's probably so busy with all his other stuff. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you're one of the top producers. But I just told him about it, and he's like, I could probably send you how many loans you
Or
said?
probably 30.
30 loans. All right, so I'll let you guys take it from there, and I'll let you go. But Alex, this is another reason why, right? We got to continue to remind people we have seconds. It's just it's new, and
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah.
yeah. But
Absolutely.
all right, thanks, Alex.
Tell Yusuf.
Okay, of course.
All right.
there's
I've never done a live call on the podcast, but I needed to because our AEs, we just did a whole meeting yesterday about it. And if you don't know, you're watching this podcast, the power of explain what that power would be. Just
Sure.
tapping that equity.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, so basically, a lot of people are wanting to pull cash out right now, but their rates are with their the rates like a 3 to 4% with the first.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
rates are really high right now, so they don't want to refinance their entire loan.
right.
They'd rather get a second loan, and what that enables them to do is keep the same payment with their first.
Yeah, and tap their equity.
And tap
then
the equity that
if
they
you
built.
blend the rate, so have you heard of what like a blended
Mhm.
rate is? And it's not like equal to equal. It's like weighted, right? So you
Right.
got $1 million first, $250,000 second. You can get the rate is probably in the high fours and low fives, something like that. If you blend it,
So you can do P&L on a second,
I think so, but don't quote
or
me on that.
or
I
even
know
bank
we-
statement loan.
I know what we did is we took our products like our Montage, our Spectrum, so we can even do it on investment properties. Lower LTVs. I think our max LTV on just any on a full doc is 80, but it's a non-QM 80, so it's also I think a P&L 80 maybe. Don't quote me on that. But 75 max on our bank statements. But still, people have a ton of equity right now, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot, and a lot of people that are wanting to. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I have said no to, because a lot of my clients are non-QM.
Yeah.
And usually for a second or a HELOC, you got to go full doc on it. And like, hey, you're not going to qualify.
I think on all seconds you have to go full, or HELOC, you have to go full doc.
Yeah.
Banks don't do bank statements.
Right. Yeah, banks
So,
don't do bank
I mean-
statements, so you're left with your non-QM lenders.
Yeah, and right now we're the only one as of this date right here.
When did this come out?
This came in August 1st. We launched it August 1st.
August 1st.
So almost 2 months we've had it.
You know what? Alex told me.
He did tell you?
He told me. He told me.
I knew he
Yeah,
probably
Alex.
told you, but I was like, this is surprising that you
This
didn't.
was there was a loan, and yeah, I remember I was in
But
a
you forgot, so that's another reason why AEs need to remind, right?
right, like a little automatic.
Because us as originators, we're just always busy, and we just out of sight, out of mind, or like.
Hey, can I give a recommendation? You tell me. So a lot of I get blown up with emails by AEs,
Oh,
and
for sure.
whenever I get one, I just trash it because
Sales. It's a sales email.
if I were to give a recommendation, pick up the phone and tell me what the product is.
Yeah. And then plan it and get you to think about how you could use it.
Right.
Because then you just
Because it's
locks
all about
in, right?
it's all about providing value to us, just like how we provide value to realtors.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then the realtor starts thinking, oh, I can get paid on
Yeah.
this borrower now, or I can get paid on this client, right?
Yeah, you're showing me how to grow my business. I'm not gonna forget about you.
Yeah, and you're gonna
Just-
take their calls,
Mhm.
all those things, right? So,
Right.
what inspires you? Like, I know you said you think about mortgages, borrowers, and all that,
Sure.
but what is it what deep down drives you? Because you're not like every loan officer I've talked to, right? You have a drive, you have an appetite to do this. Earlier you mentioned like you you've given back to your family and things like that. Like what drives you deep down,
right? Yeah.
to be successful?
I grew up I'm Chaldean, Catholic Iraqi. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. I was born in Baghdad, Iraq.
Wow.
We were accepted into the United Nations and were flown out to Nashville, Tennessee in September of 2000. So my parents came here with
So you were really little, right? You were like,
I was 5 years old.
Okay.
In September.
You didn't speak English?
Nothing. No.
Wow.
I grew up in like the ESL program, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
My dad worked at a car wash for like $6 an hour, I remember. And
Wow.
my mom was a server somewhere. No English. I don't know how they came here with 2 kids. So I grew up I wasn't spoon fed growing up. I didn't get what I wanted.
Yep.
I couldn't go to, I couldn't get the backpack that I wanted or the clothes that the other kids had.
Yeah.
So I remember growing up hard,
Yeah.
and my parents struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So that ignited a fire in me.
Wow.
And, them bringing me here, and I feel like I owe it back to them and to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want my kid to be able to buy whatever they want without asking me.
Mm-hmm.
I took my parents out of Section 8 housing and I bought them a home.
Wow.
That's
cool.
So it's I like being the best. I'm very competitive. I want to be number one. We are going to be the number one mortgage broker in California, and maybe in 3 or 4 years you'll have me back on here. I'll tell you. Remember this podcast 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So I have
Can't wait.
I have that drive in me, and I truly believe that we are going to be the best because of the things that we have to offer that others can't do, like non-QM being the best at it, and it's a will to get it done.
Yep.
We get shit done.
Yep.
That's all we do the job. That's all that matters. People will hate on you when you're successful.
Yeah, they do.
They'll talk.
And they don't see the sweat and the tears and the grind and the pain and right.
The long hours, the 1 a.m.s, the 2 a.m.s, the 3
You're
a.m.s.
lucky. They think, I just somehow he just got handed to you.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of people they'll talk what they want, but they can't. What they can't say is they can't question is your reviews.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say that Milad ever lost a buyer's EMD.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say the clients aren't the ones talking. They can't say that we're not good at what we do.
Yeah.
Can't say that we're not helping families.
Yeah.
And they can't say that we're busy when no one else is. We're hiring when mortgage companies are going out of business.
Yeah.
That's what they can't say.
Right.
So I'd just say, we're focused and it's exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you you look like you're dressed pretty casual today? Do you always dress like that, or do you dress like sometimes you wear suits and like?
Well, these are $1,000 jeans, and this is a $1,000 shirt.
Okay.
But this is me,
yeah, that's who you are. You don't need to impress. Like you're not trying to be. And at the end of the day, the suit doesn't. People judge. People will judge right out the gate when they see you. Like, what's the packaging?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But like you said, the reviews, right? That matters. The intention, the drive, the passion that speaks louder than like the clothing or the image necessarily.
Sure.
But I could tell you were fashionable.
Yeah.
I was just like
I didn't come in here dressed in a suit. Yeah, it's like you're meeting with a big non-QM lender CEO. Come dressed. Yeah.
No, but like some people have come to the podcast dressed in a suit. And
sure,
they come in. Some have come in shorts and a hat. And like I'll wear a hat often too, and I won't even put on a button-down shirt. I'll wear a T-shirt and FundLoans.
John, this goes back to your question that you asked me earlier. Why, how have you been able to become, one of the reasons that we've been so busy and so successful is because we're real.
Yeah.
We're genuine.
Yep.
This is what you get.
That's you.
This is me. The way I'm talking is the way I talk to my friends.
Yeah.
I don't put on this fake persona.
Yeah.
I have tattoos and I have earrings. Yeah. But guess what? I'm going to get your damn loan closed. Right. People don't question that.
People don't care about your tattoo once your loan funds.
Yeah. No, they don't give a shit. No, that's they care about people like real people. They like speaking with a person. Yeah. And that's why this is something that it goes back to realtors. That's what I tell realtors, because I coach a lot of realtors and help them build their teams, because then they'll just refer all the business back to me. Right. Right. I'll tell them like, hey, listen, don't be genuine. Be who you are. Don't put on this fake persona, because people smell that. They smell it. Yeah. Yeah. They get that. So that's when I talk to people, I tell them like, listen, what you see is what you get. I'm straight up with them and I'm honest, and people can appreciate that.
That's cool.
And that's probably a big reason for our referral business.
That's awesome, man. What do you have any people that you can like shout out to that kind of helped you along the way? I'm sure like it sounds like you had a hardworking family, parents. Any specific people that you can shout out to that kind of helped you?
Sure, yeah.
And how'd they help you?
My mother, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
she's just a very strong lady. You know, her family, all of her family's in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we grew up. Growing up, she didn't have any family here in Nashville.
Right.
No English, nothing. But all my dad's side of the family were in America.
Okay.
So, my mom's a very strong lady, and she did a really good job at raising me and my sisters. My sister just graduated, Maria, nursing school. So good on you.
That's awesome.
She's in Vanderbilt now. But
Good school, yeah.
yeah, great school. So my mom, and then number 2, because I know he'll watch this, is Master Sergeant Bernardo Lopez. Now
Oh,
that
that's
was my
cool.
boss in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
So he taught me a lot of what I know. The smallest things.
Yeah.
Answering a phone call. Good afternoon. This is
Having
how
respect.
can I help you?
Yeah.
The professional email,
Mhm.
following up,
That's
stuff
cool.
that I use to this day is owed to him, and he taught me a lot of things. And you know, I think he's in Iwakuni or Japan now. But I'd say if I could shout out 2 people, it'd be my mom and Gunny Lopez to me. But now he's a master sergeant. You'd get pissed if I say that.
Do you think being in the military helped you with your like work ethic, or was that
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
kind of taught you some stuff that you wouldn't have learned necessarily just from
Right.
maybe another job or like school or whatever?
Yeah. It's the discipline.
Yep.
The early hours, the long hours,
Right.
translate perfectly into loans, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've worked with veterans a lot, and I support them, and that's why I have American flag up there. I'm a patriot,
you.
and I thank you for your service
Thank you.
to the country, and I mean it's cool, it's yeah. I mean, we forget, there's a lot of veterans that are hurting right in this country, and have been kind of just not treated the best, and I think mortgage industry is a good industry for veterans to get into because they do have that work ethic, they have that ability to connect, and to just to get it done. I think that's huge. So yeah, that's amazing. How do people get a hold of you? TheLoanGoat.com or
Yeah, you can via Instagram.com/loan.goat or Instagram.com/247lender is my personal Instagram. So I post a lot of good content on there. If you want to give me a call or shoot me a text regarding anything at all, even if you're an unlicensed, aspiring loan officer or an unlicensed aspiring realtor that wants to get into this business, or just a client, 619-617-2797. Again, that's 619-617-2797, and we are available 7 days a week around the clock, and we'd be happy to help you.
Awesome. Well, make sure you guys reach out to the Loan Goat here. Hope this helped your business. Hope that this podcast has been helping your business. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Let us know what you want to hear, any guests that you'd like to have on. We love to do this, and we want to do it more. So we're here for you. We're here to add value to you as loan professionals, and we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
The $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast.